Oh, is back, the man behind the mask. I basically got in trouble for picking on Kyle Kalinske. Even though I don't know how I can cyberbully Kyle Kalinske when if my platform and his platform went to war, I'd be outnumbered 300 to 1. Yeah, well, welcome to YouTube. They have to make sure. Now, YouTube has to make sure, even though most people that make content on YouTube are grown-ass adults, not children, they gotta make sure, they gotta make goddamn sure that YouTube is a safe space for anyone and everyone, even though that as an adult, you should not need a safe space. If you need a safe space as a grown-ass human being, guess what? The real world is not for you. Report to your nearest pillow room.
They will suspend all asylum applications and immediately deport.
Because they're not asylum seekers, Sam. They're looking for work. Or they're looking for free shit. Either way, they're not escaping persecution for political beliefs or religious beliefs.
Weeks.
Except you know goddamn well they're not asylum seekers. Let's be real.
This is patently illegal. Donald Trump tried to do it.
I'm sorry. Why can't we close the border? No, it's not. How is it illegal? How? Because we signed some treaty with other countries? The rest of the world, America could literally tell the entire rest of the world to fuck off. That's how powerful we are.
The federal court stopped him. I hope the federal court stopped Joe Biden's plan as well.
Well, they can't, because what if Joe Biden gets a right-wing or whatever?
It is contrary to U.S. and international law.
Do you know what international law, Sam, is? It's a lie. It is literally a lie. International law does not exist. It's sure in the shit doesn't exist in the Middle East. It's sure in the shit doesn't exist in China or North Korea. International law is a bunch of bullshit that nations follow if and when they feel like it.
So many other things. I mean, going to New York, the kids can't have Little League games anymore. It sounds...
Exactly. You can't have Little League. They can't play basketball. They can't have the public pools. Hotels are being destroyed. Yeah. Sorry, get them the hell out. They have no right to be here.
So trivial, right?
Why?
Because the migrants are living in the fields. They have no chance unless you...
Guy living in New York here. Guy with an 11-year-old son. Not playing baseball anymore. It's not because he can't. It's because he doesn't want to. But his friends still do.
Yeah, where do you live in New York? Do you live in New York City, or do you live in a suburb of New York City, or do you live somewhere else in New York State? Okay, because technically New York City is separate from New York State. It's some weird fucking thing. I just learned that on a YouTube short. So, are you in New York City proper? Are you in a suburb of New York City, one of the 5 boroughs? Or are you in somewhere else in New York State, like I don't know, Buffalo?
When you hear
And I think
video-
Will
All
King
right, hold
has...
on. Here we go. All right, let's do this.
hear of New York, you probably instantly think of this place. But what if I told you that this is actually not New York? Let me explain why is that. You see, many non-Americans think that New York City is New York, but that is not quite true. In fact, New York City is just a city inside of New York State. New York State, on the other hand, is a much larger area, consisting of huge farmlands, valleys, mountains, companies, and other...
Okay, so I misunderstood it when I heard it, because I thought it was like, New York City is not New York... I mean, New York City probably largely runs itself, but whatever.
It's a migrant-free.
Sam, I will bet $300 your son is going to a private school. Call me crazy. All right, I gotta be right back. Why did I have all that beer, coffee, water, and watermelon?
So you'd think he'd say,
Well, it's not really, I've not heard the baseball field theory that much, but rec centers are completely overrun. Schools are completely overrun. I have heard that. And again, Sam, you would know that if you sent your kids to public schools. Or again, you said you live in New York. Is that state? Do you live in Albany, New York? Or do you live in New York City proper?
Can you implement deportations, and do you think the public will have the appetite, the stomach for watching deportations?
From the footage I've seen, just from the footage I've seen, I'd say yes, the American people are telling the government, get these fucking people out of here.
And one of the things I'm doing is giving local police immunity from prosecution. They get prosecuted.
Okay. This is just absolutely backcrap crazy. First off,
I'm sure Donald Trump is not going is not going to say, okay, you're a police officer, the law doesn't apply to you. But police pre-George Floydification of America were allowed a certain level of immunity because their job is extremely dangerous and you have to stop criminals. But now, if the cops so much as slap a person while trying to arrest them, they can lose everything, including their freedom.
let's just be
All because some fucking multi-time piece of shit felon who didn't help a goddamn person in his whole life, who was dying already of a fentanyl overdose, happened to had a cop get rough with him.
clear. Let's review. He's going.
Yeah, well, Sam, for every good one, you know what? I'll be completely fair. I would say the ratio is probably about 4 of them want to come here and work hard, and they want to be law-abiding citizens. 3 of them are here looking for for free shit. And the rest, unfortunately, are bad people.
Or increasing the amount of immunity that cops already have, which is enormous in this country.
No, they don't. Not anymore. It seems we go after cops way more harshly than we do criminals. Oh my God, they shot that man while he was strangling his pregnant wife. But they shot that man. They should have tried to talk to him. Offered him a cup of tea. You know, I'm sorry, dipshit leftists, but sometimes you need violence to stop things. Okay, so this is the shockingly honest headline from TYT. Anna and a Marxist writer break down the major mistake the left is making. The major mistake is listening to Marxist writers. Karl Marx is history's biggest loser.
And we will include a link to that
Okay, wait a second.
response is titled, "The Marginalized Should..."
The marginalized should just be allowed to break the rules as bigoted and unworkable. Okay.
just be allowed. DeVore highlights the severe consequences of just allowing people to use illegal mopeds in densely populated parts of the country with impunity, like New York.
Oh my God, am I actually going to agree with a Marxist? Again, once again, every time I watch TYT anymore these days, I have to keep adding the phrase, the devil is ice skating to work.
I'm willing to get...
Yeah, those scooters ain't exactly light. I mean, I know they don't go very fast. But yeah, you kind of have to... I mean, this is why I get so pissed off with bicyclists on the road. 1, I can't see you. 2, you have a tendency to weave in and out of traffic. And 3, you're bicyclist, you have no right to the road. Fuck you.
Amounts of LLOs that...
Well, okay, to be completely fair, that's an American instinct because we are an anti-authoritarian country. Or an anti-authority country and an anti-authority people.
Crime, LOL, 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 and no...
But we also like law and order to a certain
news
degree.
coverage as well. TYT is facing challenges, guys.
Racism will never be over. Racism has existed as long as humans have existed.
This is the entire
and it will continue to exist till the human race goes extinct.
Industry is. You know who could make the difference? You. If you hit the join button below, it's going to make all...
give my fat ass money. I tell bicyclists to stay on the goddamn sidewalk. Now, again, I live in Minnesota. I live in a suburb. So the amount of people walking is relatively light. But I don't know where those fucking scooters go, because those things can go 30, maybe 40. I forget how, but, I mean, they can't exactly be on the sidewalk.
And I also think that...
Just get a car. Be an adult.
And many of them are undocumented immigrants.
They're not undocumented immigrants. They're illegal. Please use the proper word. You're supposed to be a writer.
And the fundamental point that I have to make, but fundamentally just the idea that, okay, these people cannot be expected to follow basic rules and laws that keep the rest of us safe, depends on the notion that they're incapable of doing so, which, as I say in the piece, is a deeply racist notion.
You know, it reminds me of what...
Yeah, but isn't that the same exact argument you motherfuckers make every time we bring up voter ID? That, well, people of color don't have IDs. Despite the fact that yesterday, in the liquor store, were 2 black guys buying liquor, having to show their IDs because they were both newly 21.
One, magic policy change that we can enact to fix America.
And also, considering that the crime rate right now is through the roof, you're going to see a lot more pro-policing laws coming.
And policing.
Okay, this is from David Pacman. Red alert! World preparing for Trump win and violent uprising. From who? Leftists? I can believe that. From the Trump side? Well, he's been president before.
Incredible situation that's taking place globally right now. The world is preparing for Donald Trump to win in November and potentially for an intermediate violent period during which bad actors like Putin may seek to cause even more global chaos.
Oh my God! Okay, first off, when Trump was president, we had no new wars, and Putin was under control. Putin said not to bomb Syria. Donald Trump said bomb Syria. I basically looked at Putin and said, "What now, bitch?" And Putin backed down. You remember this, Dave? It wasn't that long ago, buddy. Okay? Again, no new wars, and the world was a lot fucking safer. Hamas wouldn't have dared attack Israel if Trump was president.
I apologize that it's not really very visible here. What Europe Fears by McKay Coppins. And this lays out a terror sort of situation.
What even was that map? What, Russia's going to invade Ireland? How? How the fucking Irish couldn't handle being ruled by the British? They had an 800-year-long war over it.
MSNBC laying it out. This is truly horrible stuff, and there's a lot to say about it.
God, will you drink a beer and eat a steak and get some testosterone?
Let's listen and then discuss.
Fears of losing their most powerful ally that has translated into a pathological.
Trump was president for 4 years. Okay, did everyone collectively forget January 20th, 2017 to January 20th, 2021 when Donald J. Trump was the president of these United States? He said, well, you know, they're going to have to pay their fair share if they want NATO, which is true. We're mostly NATO, and we spend billions of dollars on that shit, and they don't give us a nickel. By the way, that's why Europe can have, like, this socialized bullshit. They don't have to have a military because the United States protects them. But Trump didn't do shit. Didn't shut down one military base over there. God, it's like the same thing if we forgot that a black man was president for 8 fucking years. He sucked, but he was a black man and he was president. He was terrible. Brother.
He was making contingency plans.
Also, what is with this thing of, and this guy even has a fucking chess set. What is with this thing of always being behind a wall of fucking books? It doesn't make you look smarter. All right, so let's deal with this. Our president shitting his pants. So here's Joe Biden with Macron and his decrepit crypt keeper wife. You know, he's like 40 and she's like almost 70. Those are probably some of the last D-Day survivors, and Jesus.
Distinguished guests, please welcome.
Oh God, and look at her. And we're gonna play this back.
Distinguished guests, please welcome the Honorable Lloyd.
He just shit his pants. I'm sorry. I've been around too many toddlers. I know that look. Friends, kids, nephews, nieces. I've seen that too many times when they're potty training. It's like, it's stinky boom boom time.
The fabric of our society.
Seems to me the guy that you were all getting behind to get rid of him has done more of that, and he just shit his pants in France. Joe Biden shit his pants in France. I will tell you the tale of him shitting his britches in France.
We can save the day.
Yeah, well, I voted for Hillary Clinton because, well, I got paid to. But I'm voting for Trump this time around.
For our children.
Diarrhea. What America needs, in this guy's opinion, is...
Yeah, and it's only in your opinion.
An unapologetically left-wing president who's willing to fight to get money out of politics and to make major reforms.
Okay, money out of politics, never gonna fucking happen. Major reforms, never gonna fucking happen. And as for unapologetically left-wing, considering what the left stands for right now, which is basically socialism, yeah, Sorry, not on board with that, Bucky.
To fiscal.
That's what I think. I think you're not ready for a truce for a socialist society, because TJ, the first people that are shot in it are you. Okay, you actually contribute nothing to society except, I guess, entertainment. You have no skills. You have nothing to, again, outside of maybe entertainment. But in a socialist society, nobody needs entertainment. Everyone should be entertained by helping the state and their fellow man and all that bullshit. All right, I want to do this for Sam Cedar.
All right, Luke, let's move to this other story.
God, I gotta fucking pee again. This is what happens when you drink a fucking liter of water. So we're going to go to TYT Sports. Things go from bad to worse for Stephen A. Smith.
Stephen A. Smith.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am the executive producer of First Take. You ever heard of Monica McNutt? You have now. Because she's on First Take a lot.
Is that it again with another?
Okay.
Another terrible, egotistical.
Okay, you said you're the executive producer, so what is she? Is she an employee of yours, or independent contractor with you, or what the fuck is going on with this?
Take. Basically, he's mad.
By the way, men should never wear sweaters. And weenies like you should never wear hoodies.
Mad about this.
Who talks about the WNBA? Who talks about women? Who talk about women's sports more than First Take?
Stephen A., respectfully, with your platform, you could have been doing this 3 years ago if you wanted to.
If he fired her because of this fucking interview, oh, I'm gonna be pissed. Because that stupid fucking uppity black not shut the fuck up.
They do. Now let's be clear about a few things. First, she was a baller at Georgetown. The accolades are...
No, she wasn't, because let's be honest, nobody gives a shit about the WNBA. Right now you have a pulse. For the first time ever, like you've been trying to light this fire for 25 fucking years. You now have some embers burning that might go into flame. Or you have a tiny little flame in Caitlin Clark. And you want to excuse people that want to make sure that flame is snuffed out. You know as well as I do, it was a goddamn cheap shot. Now, I could turn the WNBA into a raging inferno, because I would literally say, do not recruit on skill, do not recruit on talent, go for looks, and let's talk about the changing uniforms.
Impressive, to say the...
Because I'm sorry, women are incapable of putting on a compelling basketball game. That's just the way it is.
Least. Number 1 all-time in games. Number 2 in threes. Number 9 in steals. 16th in all-time points scored. 23rd.
Yeah, and that was 13 years ago.
In blocks, 25th in rebounds. This is the epitome of an all-around player. Thus, she was a 2-time captain. WNBA.com's Dorothy J. Gentry did a piece on McNutt
last year.
In 2023,
do I know what misogyny is? Yes, I've been accused of it a million times. Or what is misogyny noir? Yeah, it's called making the league profitable. Look, I'm sorry, but mostly men watch the WNBA. And most men are straight. Like 92% of us are straight. So we want to see scantily clad, cute chicks playing basketball. I guarantee you, you do that, and the WNBA will be the most profitable sports league within 2 years. I'm sorry, women can't play basketball worth a shit. Women can't do sports worth a shit. The only exception I'll make is the UFC and boxing, but then again, that's a one-on-one sport, not a team sport.
Could give Trump an advantage. It's a loophole, if you will, that exists very uniquely in this appellate division of New York.
All right, I have to take a whiz. Sorry, but I had like 4 bottles of water before I had cracked my first beer.
Well, it's just a misdemeanor, but he definitely...
All right, I'm bored. I'll see everyone tomorrow, or maybe in a couple of minutes. Yeah, maybe we'll do something on good old Twitch. Good old Twitch. But if I don't see you there, then I'll see you tomorrow night. Good night, everybody.
And that's going to take some time. You're going to simmer the potatoes along with the sautéed celery and onion.
Why did you not simmer that? I mean, I'm sorry, but somebody asked me, when do you cook the bacon for the Snoop Dogg's bologna sandwich? Oh, I don't know. Use leftover bacon or any other fucking time.
In the soup, a bechamel sauce, literally. First of all, we have to make a roux, and we have...
Sorry, my cooking videos are for people who can actually think. Maybe that's my problem.
We'll make a basic roux. It's spelled R-O-U-X. In Dallas, they call it a rux, I'm afraid.
Actually, it's just R-O-O-O.
Some fellows in New Orleans, I want you to know that what I'm doing now is sin. In the West Coast, we would never use a canned clam. And I'm never to be doing this, but I'm going to do it in front of you anyhow. I'm putting in just the juice from 3 6.5-ounce cans.
I'm sorry. I was alive for when you shot this episode. There were fresh clams available in Chicago. You just had to pay for them.
For our sauce, you see the soup is ready?
Again, I've never had canned clams. I've never had clams. I'm not the biggest seafood fan, but again, with a show as popular as yours, you should be able to get clams.
Milk. See how thick that is?
And you grew up on the West Coast, you should know how to deal with clams.
And we're going to leave now. This is where we get going. Now we need 4 ripe tomatoes. The potatoes are done. You say you're
What? What? First off, the potatoes look damn near raw when you put them in. And potatoes need time. And there's no way it'd be that thin. Potatoes release starch as they cook. But why in the name of God are you adding tomatoes? Again, I am not an expert on clam chowder. I'm willing to be humbled. But why in the name of God are you adding tomatoes?
And we'll simmer that now a few more minutes along with the clams. Then we'll test it for seasoning. And
you don't need to simmer it with the clams. The clams are already fucked. They're already drier than hell. That's why deli tuna salad requires canned tuna. It's already cooked to fuck.
And we have it all over the counter. And I think that's one of the ways that you should probably run your kitchen when you're trying to entertain, because you don't want to be exhausted when you're finding.
No, I just know what the fuck I'm doing.
Entertaining, you want to enjoy yourself. It's a basic rule for entertaining.
I could have every single member of my family and every single friend of mine in my kitchen at the same time, and I will know how to make tacos.
Have things so organized.
And where everything the fuck is.
The clams, cook that for about 10 minutes so that the tomatoes are still, they're still in form.
Why are you adding tomatoes to clam chowder? Plus, when you want all this shit to go down?
You know what I mean? But very tender and nice. And you have a clam chowder. Well, let me show you one. I have one in the oven. Except I have everything in there for you. Yes. Then I have one in the oven just to keep it warm.
I used to love this man as a child, and now I'm just... I'm sorry. He led America astray.
And I think... Isn't this a beautiful pot? This is called a Pélion from France. Ah, there.
So... Alright, this is already pissing me off. So, you couldn't even be bothered to cook your 2 clam chowders in the same cooking vessel. Now, I understand for TV show they have limitations on time. But they usually stick to the same cooking vessel. You didn't even do that here.
There we are. And I'm going to dish up a bit of that. And I may, if it doesn't have enough flavor in it, I put in salt and pepper too, of course. But if it doesn't have enough flavor for me, or if I want a little bit of added hotness, do you know what I'm going to put in that? I prepared some sherry in a little, put it in a little shaker. You see? Can you see the peppers floating around in there? Can you see the peppers in there? I don't think you can at all. Well, I'll try this then. Let me show you what the peppers look like. They're called hatakas. And you buy these long dried peppers and just put 4 or 5 in about a cup of sherry and let it sit for... Now because that's enough hot stuff for him. He would holler, "That's it! Quit, quit, quit!" All right, enough of the chowder here. Let me begin with another one, or go on with another one.
Yeah, because you start the cook in one cooking vessel, you end with another. And again, if they were both stainless steel pots, I wouldn't have had much of a problem with it. But no, one is a completely different cooking type. All my childhood heroes and all your childhood heroes will turn to shit.
A little bit of salt and a little bit of garlic. That will be our our Alfredo sauce. I said Parmesan sauce, but I mean Alfredo. So that'll be our Alfredo sauce. So going into the pasta, you want just enough water that's going to cover the noodles, so that way the water will boil faster.
Oh my God! No, you don't. You want a shit ton of water so the noodles don't stick together. Oh, God, who the fuck taught you to cook?
Sure.
My mom found you.
Awesome. I'm glad Cindy's here.
You know what? I don't even care anymore. I guess I have the life drained out of me. Good night, everybody.